You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, quit that JOB, that just over broke job, by investing in real estate so you never ever have to work a job again. And today, I am super pumped to be talking to you about passionate income. We all know what passive income is, at least you listen to the show. You know it's working one time, getting paid over and over and over again. Now, passionate income is where we do the same thing, but we also are able to utilize our passions, what we love to do to make us money. And I bring on an expert that's going to show us how to do it and how you can do it as well. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here's your host, Dustin Heiner.
Hey, what's up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. Now, there's something I want to share with you. I recently looked up on iTunes, or it's not iTunes anymore, it's Apple. So Apple Podcasts, I got my wife a brand new iPhone, and yes, she switched over to iPhone. Not sure if she likes it yet, but we'll see. But I signed her up for a new Apple account and also looked up in the podcast, Apple Podcasts, I looked up real estate investing. I did a search. I said, let me see if Master Passive Income comes up on the the charts, or if it comes up if you search for real estate investing. Well, I was so pumped. I looked up real estate investing, and it showed Master Passive Income as the second option right there. Brand new account, never looked up anything in real estate, was number 2, right behind that big podcast company that's also another real estate company. I was so pumped, and honestly, thank you. And I want to thank you so much for listening to the show and even giving a rating. If you want to give a 5-star rating review, if that's something you'd like to do, I would love and really, really appreciate it. But I just thank you so much that, it actually helps me to want to continue to do this. Now, I might have shared this once before, a number of episodes ago, but I shared this at RubeCon. So RubeCon 2024, I shared this from the main stage, that I was literally about to give up on Master Passive Income. I was going to stop doing the podcast. I was going to stop doing all the coaching and courses and all that stuff because I was honestly getting bored. Now, it might be kind of weird to hear that, but I was getting bored. People were listening to the podcast, which was great, but I was not having any interaction with anybody other than seeing the downloads and seeing the 5-star reviews and, people saying that it's really helping them to invest, and then people sending me emails or DMs on Instagram, which you can always find me on Instagram. If you go and find me on the Dustin Heiner, THE Dustin Heiner, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm putting out lots of great stuff for real estate, but I was so close to actually quitting doing Master Passive Income. In fact, I started the Successfully Unemployed show because I was bored of Master Passive Income. And what it really came down to was I was tired of just selling courses. That's all I was doing up until 2019 into 2020. I was just selling courses. And when you sell a course, you get somebody, of course you sell a course, but of course you get somebody that buys your course. And I was noticing only 20% of the people would actually finish it. I was getting so depressed. Like, I make my money through real estate. And I was like, I'm making this for you. You're spending good money to get the course. Why won't you finish it? Well, I'll finish out the story. I'll help fast forward the story. So I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he has a membership in basically his online courses and has the membership component with group coaching. And he was encouraging me to do that because I was telling him how I'm an extrovert. And so if I'm not around people, I don't get filled up. So I needed to be around people. Plus, I needed to see people actually succeed. And Master Passive Income was just about to close. I was literally just about to close. And I said, you know what? Let me give this one last try to see if I really want to continue to do this or not. Let me start a membership where I can actually coach people and get to know my students or the people that are even just around Master Passive Income, listen to the podcast and all that sort of stuff. I kid you not, that is literally what sparked a fire in me was you guys. And the group coaching, the membership that we now have, because now I have so many friends that are a part of Master Passive Income that are students now. And obviously having you guys listen to the podcast, which hopefully gets you encouragement that you absolutely can invest. And I'm giving you how to invest on the podcast. And if you need more help, we do have the ability to coach you through it, which we've got hundreds, if not thousands of students now. And with that, that has encouraged me to continue on doing the podcast because you guys are investing. I'm seeing you invest. I'm getting your wins. In fact, this last coaching call was last Thursday. We do it the first Thursday of every single month at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and everybody's in the membership can join. And we first go through wins, the wins that they have in their real estate investing. Now, even just joining the call for the first time, that's a huge win. And starting your LLC, getting an EIN number, finding a city to invest, these are all great wins. Now, it's also, I try not to discourage people and encourage them by saying, even if you didn't buy a house, there are other wins. But I kid you not, there was like 3 or 4 students, I don't know, it was like 20 plus of us on the call at the time. There was like 3 or 4 students that actually got a house or were either closing in the next week or two or had just closed. I am personally closing on a house hopefully next week on May 10th is hopefully the date that we're going to close. But what happens is you get around the right people. Remember, when I was selling courses, only 20% of the people were actually finishing the course. And I wouldn't even know if they were going to actually invest. I just knew if they finished the course or not. Now, it's like almost 90% of the people finish the courses. Almost 90% of people actually invest. It's a fast track way to help you to invest, to scale your business. Even if you have 5 properties, we help you to scale to where you have 20, 30, 40, 50 properties and have it to be automatic. And that honestly came because of the podcast, because of you. So I want to thank you so much for helping me and just get this word out. So if you want to share this with anybody, share Master Passive Income with anybody, I would love it if you did. And really, really appreciate you listening and being a part of everything. Now, we do have the coaching, the membership. If you want to join and be a part of us, we want to be there for you. In fact, it's like a family, a community of all of us. And honestly, even RubeCon, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, came because of my membership. Because all the students, we're so much like good friends online. We see each other online, and everybody wanted to get together. And I said, let's absolutely do that. Created the conference. Now 3 years now running, got some more exciting things coming for Master Passive Income. So be on the lookout for that little teaser. Multifamily. I'll just use that one word. Multifamily is one word that I'm kind of teasing out there. Now with this is now getting into what I'm talking about, passionate income today. In fact, I'm bringing on a friend of mine who is, he's pretty big on social media and a good investor, at the same time, a smart businessman. And he's really thinking about how we can have passionate income where we actually can make money off of our passion. And I'll be completely straightforward and tell you, even though I've said many times that I'm an investor, you've heard me say that many times, I'm an investor, but what it comes down to is I'm actually a business owner, and one of my businesses is real estate. But another business, and this is what I love, this is where my passionate income, I'm not necessarily passionate about real estate. It's great and all, but what I'm passionate about is helping you to invest. That's what I'm passionate about, because I didn't have any access to my students back when I was just selling courses. The passion wasn't there. Now, because I have access to my students, they have access to me, we hang out, we get together on Zoom calls, but then also at the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, if you join the one-on-one coaching, you get 2 free tickets, just to come to the conference because you're part of Master Passive Income. But I so want you to start finding your passionate income. In fact, for me, real estate got me to have passionate income because I had 40 plus hours of my life back. And you can too with real estate investing. So you get passive income, automatic money coming in that frees up your time so you're not working that dead end job. Now let's jump into today's show where I'm going to be interviewing a fantastic real estate investor, business owner, and somebody who does fantastic at social media, who I'm learning from how to do social media as well. And he's coming on to share with us how we can have passionate income. All right, here we go. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for being here, man.
Dude, so excited to be here. When's the good investor coming? Can't wait to meet that guy. I'm excited, man. This is going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? My name is Brian. I also host a podcast in the similar space as Dustin here, and he was just on my show as well. We recorded an episode, the Action Academy podcast. We've done, I believe, 600 episodes across 37 countries, 7 different time zones. So not only do we do the thing, but we talk to a lot of people. So today's interview is going to be super fun, and every idea that I have is because I stand on the shoulders of giants. So it's like every framework that I have, every concept is because I've been able to ask really smart people questions and kind of shut up and listen. So I'm excited to get into it today.
I agree. Like most of the times when I start talking too much, I start to realize like I'm not learning anything if I'm just talking too much. And so I love to have as much as I can be around the right people, not necessarily just right people, because I can learn from literally anybody. But if you can get around people who are one step, maybe even if you can get around people who are 10 steps ahead of you, that's even better. But even just one step ahead of you, or even just a little bit on the side, meaning they have something, they're doing something you might not know about. So love that. That's why I love bringing people like you on the show, is because I get to learn, and as well as the audience, as well as you know that. Now, Brian, now you're investing, and when did you start investing in real estate?
Started investing in real estate in 2019. So right before COVID, and of course, my entire family told me it was the best idea I've ever had in my entire life, and they all supported me and held my hand through the process, right? Heck no. Ladies and gentlemen,
Never.
Every single thing that you do is reliant on your environment. You can only grow and expand to the level of the box that you are in. So if you're a big fish in a small pond, it's time to upgrade the pond. And that's what I ended up having to doing multiple times throughout my life. And now it becomes, I call it pond hopping, and you do it over and over again. You enter new rooms. And as you move up the food chain, you have to start paying a lot of money to be in some of the rooms. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So for people that are maybe hesitant to, pony up, just know like eventually down the road, like you do have to pony up. My friend Gino Barbero of Jake and Gino has a wonderful quote. And he goes, there's 2 ways to get mentorship or to attract people that are where you want to be into your world. And you either have to seek to serve or you have to pay to play. Pay to play or seek to serve. And at the beginning, it's a lot of seeking and service. So it was me gutting out people's multifamily properties, me helping people left and right. I was working a 6-figure corporate job, making $250,000 a year. I had the golden handcuffs. I had every single thing, until I realized I climbed the mountain and I was climbing the wrong mountain. Right? So how did I realize this? This is my first piece of actionable advice for people that are listening to this podcast. I looked at my boss's boss. When I looked at my boss's boss, I said, best case scenario, that's me in 5 years if I kick tail, right? And so I realized not only did they not have the pay that I wanted, but they didn't have the lifestyle. He was a father of 2 young daughters, wasn't watching them grow up, constantly traveling around eating donuts. He's just doing PowerPoints in 15-minute increments on his Zoom on his calendar. And I said, so you're telling me if I kick tail, I'm going to be, less freedom, more scrutiny, more pressure, less family time? And at that point, I was number 8 out of 5,079 sales reps. And I came to the realization that I had to get out of there. So I had to swap my corporate hat for the investor hat, started listening to podcasts. I started my journey in the least sexy way possible that would tick people off to know that they can do it too. I was just buying a freaking house a year, Justin. That is all I was doing in the very beginning. And I was house hacking. I'd live in one room. I'd rent the other rooms out. Just buy one per year, 3%, 5% down conventional loan. From that, I was able to replace a portion of my income in passive income and hit financial freedom, which is an important point. Ask me in a little bit about the different levels of cash flow that people need to know about, because this is a very important point, but I'll finish where I got to so people know who they're listening to for the podcast, So I invested in real estate, eventually was able to replace that $250,000 a year job, $20,000 a month through my own business that I started up and the real estate. Quit that job in March of 2022, and then went to travel full-time around the world for 8 months. So I went all around the world, all around Europe, all around Brazil, Latin America, and now I built my own business to where I am able to travel and operate it anywhere in the world. I spend my summers in Europe, and right now my home base is Austin, Texas, and we do right now $1.2 million a year, and we're going to be finishing this year probably around $3 million.
That is so fantastic. Now, I do want to emphasize for everybody listening the point that you made. That's about getting in the right room. There's also another idea with that is you're going to pay either one of two ways to get to where you're going to be in the right room or be around the right people, or fast track your way to actually having success. You're either going to pay with your time or with your money. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion is pay with your money, because your time is going to take forever for you to figure out. It took me 7 years to be able to quit my job, but my students are quitting their job in 3 to 4 years because I've helped them fast track. Now they pay me money because they want to get my coaching, but they are so much like they have 3 or 4 more years that they're now retired or successfully unemployed, like the term that I like it, because they have the fast track. So you're either going to pay with your time or your money. The only one commodity you're never going to get back, and you can never create any more of, it's never going to have any more at all, is time. But you can always make more time. Now, Brian, with that, I love that you actually wrote a book, and I love passive income. That's why I have Master Passive Income. I love passive income. Streams of income are really great. Now, all of my streams of income flow into my river of income, which is my real estate investing. Now, but with that, you have also another term for this income. I love the book, passive. Sorry, I said it wrong, because it's passive income. Instead of that, it's passionate income. Tell us about what does passionate income mean? And I want to pause for a quick second and share that, honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. Now, my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin and Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate, because the more that actual normal everyday people own real estate that are good landlords, the better everybody's life gets.
Yeah, passionate income is literally everything to me. But first, I want to say something that you just said that's so important. And whenever, that's our community as well. We help people buy commercial real estate and small businesses. And I tell people, it's the worst sales pitch in the world, but people that are listening that get it will get it. I say, everything that we do, there's nothing secret. There's nothing proprietary. We talk about it all on the podcast for free, and you can learn it on YouTube for free. The only thing that we sell is your time back. You can go to the networking events. You can go to the real estate events. You can go to the coffee chats. You can watch the YouTube videos. The only thing that we do is we're just like, hey, if you want to do this in 2 years instead of 6 years, we're your people. That's it. And so what Dustin's talking about when he asked the question, guys, is a term called passionate income. So what that arrived from was when I quit my job and I had this money coming in and I was traveling around the world. I went to the Greek islands for a month in July of 2022. I lived in the Greek islands, in Mykonos, Santorini, and Crete. And eventually, I went down to Brazil, and I had so much fun until I stopped having fun. And so I could be here and talk to the people, because most people's dream life on here is to quit their job, travel around the world with $10,000 plus per month in passive income, right? They want to go lay on a beach. I'm here to tell you, after 3 weeks on a beach, you are hungover, you are sunburnt, and none of your friends are texting you back, because guess what they're doing? Working.
They're working.
They're working. So everybody acts on these podcasts and in these books and everywhere that passive income is the end. Financial freedom is the end of the road. And I am here to tell you, if you guys take one thing away from this episode, financial freedom is where your life begins. And for some of you, you may be ticked off of me saying that, saying the nerve, the gall, the audacity for this guy on the podcast to tell me that financial freedom is the beginning. I haven't been able to figure this out yet. I'm here to tell you, anybody can go from zero to financially free within 2 to 3 years with the proper intention and the proper people around them. 2 to 3 years. And I've done it. We've helped hundreds of people do it. We've seen it in so many different ways, shapes, and flavors. So the question that you have to ask is, what happens next? And that is the hardest thing that you will do. And you will look back at your financial freedom and you will laugh at how easy and simple that was in comparison to figuring out what is my purpose in life. Because now you have time to slow down, you have time to think, and you have time to ask the questions, what am I here to do? What impact am I here to create? What business should I build? How can I help other people at scale? How can I be the best husband, the best wife, the best friend, the best philanthropist to the world? How can I leave this place a little bit better than I found it? And that is what led to the creation of what I call passionate income, because nobody was talking about this stuff. All the people were talking about were sticks and bricks, passive income, real estate buildings, right? And nobody talked about what do you do when you've got it? And so I wrote the book From Passive to Passionate, How to Quit Your Job, Grow Your Wealth, Turn Your Passions into Profits, as kind of that guide that walks you through not only how to use passive income as a tool to get to that first level of freedom, which the next two are time freedom and then mental and emotional freedom. But then once you get to that point, how to stop, take a pause, and ask yourself, what am I here to do? And I'll pause there, and then we can branch off in 30 different directions here.
Oh, totally. So with the idea of passion income, it's going to sound at first like I'm pushing back, but I'm not. I'm actually very, very for it. I love the idea of passion income, basically being able to do what it is you love to do. So 100%. But at the same time, if you're not at financial freedom, if you're not already there and you're thinking, well, I'm really passionate about playing the guitar and being in a band, that's my passion, I'm going to go after that. Well, is it paying your bills? Are you going to be able to actually make money doing that? And so passionate income is after, like you said, I 100% agree with you. The financial freedom is literally the starting point, because we're trying our life to get there. At least that's the goal, is to get there. Once you get there, there's so many doors that open up. In fact, all the things that I do now, from my conferences to, everything that I do, it's because it's fun, because I enjoy doing that. But before that, like somebody asked me recently, what do I think about work-life balance? I said, I don't think about it. In fact, I even think I don't even care. I won't even do that. It's not even a part of my vocabulary, because if I had to sweep the streets all day, every day to feed my family, because it's my responsibility, it's my duty to do so, I will absolutely do that. I might hate the job. It may be the worst job ever in the history of the world, but I am responsible for my family, so I'm going to take care of that. But then after I get past that, because we all have to take our responsibilities, but once you get that responsibility taken care of, then you are then able to get in your passion. Now, if you could jump right into passion, it's not very easy to do it. But if you could jump right into it, then that's fantastic. Very few people can do that. But yes, you are free now. You said it 100% right, Brian. 100% free to then go after your passions. Now my passions make me so much more money than I ever did working for anybody else.
Bingo. Yeah, and I want to punctuate that with a very specific example. I've got a friend, Eric. Eric loves mountain biking. So say Eric is a Big Four accountant. Maybe he's making $150,000 a year. So when people think about follow your passions, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, right? That's what we get taught in school. But there's not any teeth to that. Like, how do we tangibly do that? We can go into a 4-step framework here in a second, because every single thing that we talk about that's super woo-woo will bring down for people to actually implement today on this podcast. So 5-star rating and review for Dustin, guys. So say Eric leaves his job as a Big Four consultant, and he's like, I'm going to go and open up this mountain bike store. I've always been riding mountain bikes since I was a kid. I'm going to open one in Denver, Colorado. And he opens one, and Eric is the 77th mountain bike store opened up in Denver, Colorado. Every single block has a mountain bike store. Now, all of a sudden, Eric is inundated with debt, with stress, with pressure, because he doesn't have the financial foundation that allowed him to open up this mountain bike store and not care about the profit, right? So now he's dependent on this, and that is the fastest way to kill a passion, is to force it into a place of stress, friction, and necessity. People that are professional golfers, most of them don't love golf anymore, even though they're playing it full time, because they don't even enjoy it anymore, because they're doing it for their livelihood.
Well, it turns into a job. You own a job when you do something like that, and then the job starts to overwhelm you, and it starts to overtake you, where it's something that you have to do as opposed to want to do. Like when I started my conference, I think it was like $250,000 that I was on the hook for, but I had enough money. I had enough money coming in. I wasn't, gambling my family's income, my family's way that we feed our family, put a roof over our heads. because I worked my tail off to get to the point now where I could take these actions, big choices, as well as courageous types of steps that you and I would now take because we now have the opportunity, because we have the financial freedom. Now, let's move to, because I want to talk about Walt Disney. You brought this up. We're going to shift gears a little bit. Tell me about Walt Disney and your vision with your business.
Yeah, so actually they both tie in perfectly with me and Disney, and the 4-step framework for people to actually be able to implement what we just talked about on Earth, right? So everything begins, like the first level of the freedom framework is clarity, it's vision. That's where Walt Disney comes in. So you guys can't see it, but like on my office wall, I've got a giant framed picture of the Walt Disney mind map that he created in 1957. And on this mind map, he has, Disney, he has all of his like content and theatrical production in the middle of this piece of paper, and he has a rectangle around it, a box. And then he has theatrical studio, Disneyland, publishing, book rights, all these different things. He has TV, concerts, magazines, comic books, art, and he has all these different intersecting lines between all these different business verticals. And that was his vision for what Disney was going to become in 1957. And that vision is still being executed on after his death here in 2024. So that is the power of vision.
So keep that thought, because you're 100% right. And look at where it's at now. It has so many more. It has bought and owns so many more companies beyond that, because they had the vision. He first had the vision, which that vision then transpires, or if you give it to other people, you get other people on your team, then that vision grows even exponentially.
Yeah. So clarity begins with the person. Like, what do I want? And then once you get past that, the next level is, how can I describe what I want within a way that other people can read it like a blueprint to build a house upon? And that's when you become what's called a visionary. That's when you become what's called a CEO, an entrepreneur, a business owner. So that's the first step of the freedom framework, is what I call doing a vivid vision. That's a book by Cameron Herold, and I also include a step-by-step process on how to do that within my book as well. Cameron's now a personal friend. A vivid vision is a 3-year detailed document, as if you're walking out of a time machine 3 years into the future. You're writing it as if you're experiencing it in present tense. What does my life, what does my business look like, feel like, taste like? And you're writing out, what does your day look like? Where are you living? What is your revenue? Who is involved? What's your family look like? Do you have more kids? Like, are you in your dream house on the lake? Where do you live? And that's where clarity begins, because people are suffering from this thing called AP, analysis paralysis, simply because they have a lack of clarity. Clarity is the solution to everything. So right now, people are looking at short-term rentals, BRRRRs, wholesaling, flips, self-storage, laundromats. What do I want to do? Which asset do I pick? And they can't make any decisions because they're playing the wrong game, Dustin. The game that they're playing is the game of yes. The game that they need to be playing is the game of no. The stronger that your no muscle becomes, the simpler your life will be. And this applies to the $1 billion level. I just interviewed a guy yesterday that's buying $2 billion worth of industrial real estate, and he still said the same thing. He has one thing that he focuses on, and that's Class B industrial, between $15 to $100 million for his deals. So what that looks like is, once you have your vision, now you're seeing what your dream life looks like, and you're starting to chisel away at where you're going and how fast you want to get there. So first we start with, how much does that quantifiably cost? Say your dream life costs $10,000, right? And say you want to do that in 2 years. Then maybe single family is not the best bet for you to do it in 2 years. Maybe it's a commercial property. Maybe it's something different. And maybe it's a small business. So there's different parameters within which we can begin to say no. Instance, for my personal example, I was going to do multifamily, and I realized I want to travel around the world in the next 6 months. I can't be the boots on the ground in a multifamily deal because I know where I'm going and I've got this vision for where I'm heading. And so that's why I started up a business around my freaking podcast, because I was like, I can do this anywhere with a Mac and a mic. So I was able to have parameters and context within which to say no to the thing. So strategy is a set of self-imposed constraints on decision-making. The more things that you can say no to, the less anxiety you will have. So that's the first step right there. I'll pause there for a second.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because I am the type of person that lots of people are like this. we say yes to lots of things just because, number one, we don't want to let people down.
And it gets you to a certain level.
It sure does. Eventually, you have too many, not necessarily opportunities. You have too many things that could be on your plate with the opportunity cost of, if I did this, I'm going to miss out on doing this. That's what we don't want. We don't want to miss out on the good things. So we have to be able to say no to things. And my brother, he has an online business, teach people how to play poker. He loves playing poker, and he had to make sure that he changed it from always saying a yes. He said, hey, Dustin, what you need to do, instead of always saying yes, you need to start saying no. But here is the way you know if it is a no or a yes. If it's not a hell yes, like, oh, hell yes, this is awesome, let's do it,
No.
then it's a hell no, because no, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to get me what I want, or I don't even like doing something like that, so I'm not going to do it. And so I 100%, you have to have the vision and the strategy. And quickly, I want to ask you a question about getting that vision pushed out to people. That is something that a lot of people, it's not easy to do. People need to be able to buy into your vision, because I want you to get on to the next step. But with the vision, though, in helping people to see that vision, you just need to be pounding that like a drum, just over and over and over again, that vision of where you want to go. That's how people get bought into it. But tell me about how do you get that vision out to people?
Yeah, so first it's a muscle. So people please don't think that you're just going to get this overnight. It's something that you have to work at and work at and work at. Instead of something that's like a light switch, view it more like a giant block of marble that's being chiseled away on, becoming a statue, right? And then it's just to the point now where it's like, for me, I'm polishing and like the eyeballs of the statue and everything, and I'm chiseling the fine details. But in the beginning, you may just be hammering away at rock with a hammer. You know what I mean? So for me, the most important piece of advice I ever received is, you will not find rock star partners or rock star mentors or rock star employees unless you have a vision large enough within which to fit them inside. That is the most important piece of advice I have, because, example, say you want this multimillionaire person in your market that's got 1,000 units, right? But you want to flip a house, all right? Now, if you go to this person and you get their attention, say that you somehow get their attention, the idea of you flipping a house and that's all you want to do and you're good, like, that's not going to excite them, because they're not going to be interested by that. Like, big people solve big problems and they get attracted to big problems. But if you say, I want to flip 100 houses a year, they're like, woo, that's difficult. That interests me. I will help you with your problem. So the bigger problem that you actually set in the bigger challenge, the bigger goal that you set, the bigger people will be attracted to it to help you solve it. And so in the beginning, I was like, hey, I'm going to quit my job in 6 months, replace $20,000 a month so I can travel full-time around the world. And now my vision is, hey, I want to grow this Action Academy community to $10 million a year. Then we're going to start this events company that's going to do millions a year. Then we're going to go buy $25 million of boutique hotels and hospitality assets. And I'm going to make 5 millionaires out of my community by being the operators of that business. Who wants in? And everybody, now there's a list. There's a waiting list to come and help me accomplish my vision. But if I just said, hey, I want to go flip a couple houses, like, they wouldn't want to, that's not as exciting. But that's why vision is so important, because once you get clear enough on yours, then you can begin to broaden it enough to bring other people's visions. My right hand, Caitlin, her vision for her life, like, her dream is to take her kids around the world to do world school. She has 4 kids. And she wants to travel around and like homeschool them and teach them things like in the actual world. And we did the math, and it's going to cost $87,000 for her family to afford to do that. Pretty frugal. I was like, let's bump it up to 100 for funsies. And so we are working with our compensation package to make sure that she has the money to do that in 2026. And we even have a fund that we're putting it away in so that her vision will become reality on paper. And then that's when magic happens.
Well, I like what you're getting at, because you're helping somebody get what they want, then they're going to help you get what you want. I love the quote. I think it's by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar said,
Correct.
You can get whatever you want in life as long as you figure out how many people it's going to take to get you there, or something like that. But you have to serve them, figure out how many people you can serve. And then in doing that, they're going to be able to reciprocate, or you're going to be able to get something in return. So I love that. Now, was there another, so there was vision, there was strategy. Was there something else in there?
Yeah, so back to the 4-step framework. So it begins with having a crystal clear idea of where you're going, right? So that's step 1. Step 2 is building your financial foundation. So this is going to be through the non-sexy assets that we talk about on this show, on this podcast, where you're buying single-family houses, multifamily, commercial, whatever you're doing. It's the sticks and bricks. It's the self-storage. It's the non-sexy assets, the laundromat or the car wash that is going to get you your baseline level of financial freedom. So it's important that I make the distinction of baseline level. There are 3 levels of cash flow that people don't realize. Everybody thinks that the only level of cash flow to replace is their income. There's 3 levels: survive, arrive, and thrive. So what we teach all the time. And when people learn this, it changes their freaking life. Survive is how much money do you need to have your bills paid? Your mortgage is covered, your kids have food. Arrive is now you have discretionary. Your wife can now bring more Amazon packages again, right? Like you have some fun money. You can go out to eat with the family a couple times a week. Thrive is your income is completely replaced. So for me, my Survive, Arrive, and Thrive was $4,000 a month for Survive, $6,500 for Arrive, net post-tax net, but most passive income you can, if you do it the right way through real estate and business, you'll get it with tax-free. And then Thrive was $20,000 a month. So my Survive number was covered through my cash flowing real estate, only $4,000 a month. But I was house hacking, so I knew that worst case scenario, I was covered, and that allowed me to take larger risks, which goes into the final 2 steps of the equation. Number 1, vision. 2, financial foundation. Number 3, now we're going to take all of our disposable income and we're going to invest in ourselves. So this isn't going to be necessarily in real estate. This is going to be in education and community. So we're going to be spending all of our money to pay down the most important debt of our entire lives, which is the debt of ignorance. Every year that you don't know how to make $1 million is costing you $1 million every year. So what I did was I was like, I'm going to take all this extra money now, and I'm going to put that into communities, masterminds, coaches, different, events that I can go to in person a couple times a year, even a Tony Robbins event. And I put all my extra money into that, and I got my network up. So now every single person I know is a millionaire. Before, I couldn't name a millionaire to save my life. Now every person in my phone, thousands of people are millionaires because now it's normal. And then that leads to the 4th and final part of the freedom framework, which is now you have your foundation, now you have your network, now you have your crystal clear vision. Now it's time to partner up with people within that network and create partnerships and businesses to truly scale. Because any true everlasting wealth that is generational is built as a team. It's built as a team. You go from me to we to eventually, if you do it correctly, they. So right now in my business, we're a capital W, we. So we're doing it together, but there are a lot of times, because we've been doing it for going on 2 years now, that I can delegate most of the actions day to day to my team. And that goes to a they do it instead of a we do it or a me do it. So that means I can go to Europe during the summer while I still have money coming in. So even though that's active income on paper, passionate income for me, it kind of looks like passive income when you look at what I'm doing day to day.
Well, passive
and then that's
income
when it
is
gets
not
fun.
just like you. Yeah, I 100% agree. And passive income's not necessarily only you write a book and you get royalties because you worked one time, or buy a rental property and you work one time and it keeps making money for you. No, passive income is where you don't work and you still make money. And even starting a business where you have multiple people working for you, that's still passive because it's passive for you. Now, people might be thinking, well, shoot, you're hiring people. It's not that passive. Well, it actually is, because they're working a job that they enjoy, or they want to. They quit if they didn't want to. They're making money, and it helps them in their family. So we need to look at anybody that's working for us, our contractors, like my property managers. I hate talking to tenants. My property managers, either they like it or they don't mind it at all, because they've been doing it for many, many years, which I'm so happy to pay them. My accountant, they love doing numbers. I hate it. It's so horribly boring for me. I will never do it. That's why I pay them to do it. So when we have more people around us, we have now passive income. I do want to jump quick, because I love the idea that you have the passionate income that now affords you to do whatever it is you want in your life, which is travel the world. Other people, it could just be, man, I just want to play golf all day, every day, travel the world, play golf, or just play golf in my town, whatever it might be. But gives you and everybody else the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. Now, you love to travel. I love to travel too. And there's a friend of ours, mutual friend, that connected us. So tell me about
I'm bringing him with me. I'm bringing him with me to Europe for the first time. Yeah, I'm taking Jesse to Europe.
Even before that, he said he listened to your podcast. Then he reached out to you on Instagram and said, "Hey, I hear you're going to was it
Colombia?
Colombia? I heard you go to Colombia. I'm going to go too." And you're like, "Let's meet up. Let's hang out." And you guys spend like 30 days or like a month together.
Yeah.
I was like, "How was that getting somebody like if somebody said, 'Hey, Dustin, I hear you're doing this with your family. I'm going to be there. Do you want to hang out?'" I'd be like, "Oh, no, I'm good." But like that, how was that for you? Because I would be thinking that's kind of interesting how somebody is going to be there in Colombia at the exact same time for me.
Yeah, no, it was cool because there's another quote that's I have on my thigh. I have tattooed a picture of the Colosseum from Rome. I got it in Rome, looking at the Colosseum. My tattoo shop was down the block, and I could literally look at the Colosseum while I got it, which was the point. And it says "Non io critico che conta," which is it's not the critic who counts. And that's from my favorite phrase, my favorite quote ever given, and that's by "The Man in the Arena" by Theodore Roosevelt. So everybody wants to know, how do I get peers? How do I attract partners? How do I attract mentors? I'm on an island. I tell them, you must get into the arena. You must get into the arena, and you can't do it when the lights are off. You can't do it during nighttime. You have to be in the arena with people watching. And so what that means and translates to is for people that are listening, this is the best advice I can give to anybody if you're a multimillionaire or if you're just getting started on your first flip. If you're doing your first flip, document it. You will be doing your 100th flip, and you will be scrambling trying to find that first video of you messing up that roof or messing up that kitchen or picking the wrong drywall and then you mess something up astronomically. Like, that is the arena. You're posting, you're like, "Hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying." And you're posting it, you're like, "I have no idea." And there's no hate, there's no nothing when you don't be the expert and you're just like, "I'm figuring this out." Like, my podcast is a journey from me going from $0 to $10 million a year while traveling full-time around the world. The wins, the losses, and the lessons along the way. And I share things that I'm messing up on. And people are like, "This guy's doing the thing." So to punctuate this, Jesse, shout out to Jesse Ray. He messaged me and he goes, "Yo, you're going to Colombia?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, I'll go." I was like, that's kind of weird. But
it's kind of, but that's,
but hey, this is a guy. I checked out his profile, and then I looked at what he was doing, and I was like, this guy's actually going to fly down to Colombia. I was like, seems like a pretty cool dude. If he's going to fly down to Colombia, I was like, all right, sweet. Like, I'll link up with you. We're still going to do our own thing, but like, I'll link up with you. And we ended up linking up, having great conversation, becoming bros. Like, we had mutual interests. And, I was just like, dude, I actually enjoy traveling with you. Did not think that would happen with somebody because I solo travel now. And now he's never been to Europe. And now this summer, I'm like, dude, I'm going to Europe. If you want to roll with for some of it, we could branch off as need be. He's like, dude, let's do it. So now I'm like, bro, all right, cool. Because he's in the arena.
And obviously, yes, 100%. So I definitely track with you. And Jesse is such a fantastic guy. Like, I've had him on the podcast, and he shared how he actually gets like multi-million dollar people to work with him, to network with him, to be there and to be at his growth house, which he gets, communal living type things where you get people inside the house to learn and grow. But anyways, it's awesome to see how guys like us, me, you, and Jesse, that we're all about connecting with other people, working with other people, and helping other people, getting in the arena. I mean, that's just terrific. And now you're traveling, so you're going to be running all the real estate investing businesses business that you have, as well as the on the podcast. Now, with that, I know you're going to be doing the boutique hotels. Talk to us about doing that, because that is very, very interesting, and potentially it could be kind of nerve-wracking for me. I was like, oh my goodness, running a hotel, especially when you're also traveling the world.
Yeah, well, there's a specific way you go about it, right? Let's talk business building for a second. It's my favorite thing to talk about. And for people that are listening that are maybe like on your first house, your second house, like, you will get to business building the faster that you think about things like this way. There's a quote in my book, I forget who to attribute it to, but it said, the worst mistake that a small business owner can make is thinking like a small business owner. You have to think like a big business owner. And this is how this process works. It's called plant trees, manage orchards, right? So this is how you build businesses. This is how you invest in real estate. And this will change y'all's freaking lives. So when you're buying a house, when you're buying a property, and this could be a self-storage facility, this could be a multifamily property, a multi-unit, or it could be just a house. That's planting a seed. That's planting a tree into the soil. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the tree is protected as it grows into a sapling. Because like the wind, the rain, bad economic environments, bad operators, bad deals, bad litigation can take out that tree because it's not yet sturdy enough to stand on its own. So what you do is you protect it and you keep your attention on that sapling until it grows strong and sturdy to begin producing fruit. Once you have a fruit-bearing tree, you begin to go and plant more seeds until eventually you have an orchard. Then you hire somebody else to manage your orchard, and then they pick the apples from the tree and give it to you. So that is how you make $100 million plus empires. And I learned that from one of my mentors that is worth $160 million, $210 million today. And that is how I do my businesses. So every single rental property, every single business, you have to make sure that it is self-sustaining on its own before you move to the next thing. So for us, I spent the last year building our community to $1 million a year. Now this year, I'm like, okay, now we're getting up to 3 to 5 million a year. Cool. Now we're able to have enough fruit coming from that tree to hire really smart and capable people to manage the thing, right? So now when I'm looking at investment opportunities and when I'm looking at real estate, because all real estate is a business, okay? The more that you think about it like a business owner and less that you think about it like an investor, the wealthier and more passive you will be. Guaranteed. So now I'm like, what do I really, really enjoy from the business that we currently run? How do we complement the business? Instead of doing randomness, how do we complement? I said, well, let's do an events company. People love traveling that join my thing. They want to travel the world with me. Let's build an events company. So we started up an events company, and now twice a year we throw an annual event, and we go book out these mega mansions and these boutique hotels in Cabo and Costa Rica and Colombia, and we take hundreds of people down there. And, you know, that's almost $1 million business by itself in its first year. We're about $600,000 in revenue. Profit margins are not that, but it's great in revenue. So now from that point, I was like, what's another business that we can build? Because now I have an ops team in that business that runs without me. Now it comes down to, let's just buy the freaking real estate that we're renting. It's a natural transition. And then we have the community of people that are going to be ready, willing, and able to be the operators for this. So now it comes down to, that's true passionate income as it evolves over time. I love travel. I love luxury properties. It's my jam. We have the people that are loving it too. So these are going to be the capital partners and the operators for it. And now I'm like, let's just buy these freaking things. Because in the macroeconomic trends, I'm liking how boutique hotels are looking, especially with the litigation coming down on short-term rentals. In international markets, emerging markets, I like those as well. So we're going to be buying these properties. But the most important thing of all of this is I do not have a decade's worth of experience in boutique hotel operation. So instead of me going and learning and watching YouTube videos on boutique hotels, what I do is it's a goal of mine for the rest of the year to interview one boutique hotel operator per week on the Action Academy podcast. So by the end of the year, I've met like 50 different operators, and then I can choose and pick which ones through that and networking to partner with as an equity partner with a big old chunk of equity on one of my deals, and I will be the capital arm of the deal. So you need to know what arm you are of the deal. You're the money, you are the knowledge, or you are the hustle. So in my stage of life, I am no longer the hustle. I don't want to be, but I've earned the right to get out of that. So now I'm purely the capital, and I'm not the knowledge yet. So I have to give away equity on my first couple of deals to people that are the knowledge so that I can learn on the job while we take down multi-million-dollar properties. And then eventually I'm the knowledge and I'm the capital. And then we vertically integrate everything and then scale from that point. So the goal is about $10 million plus of acquisition, maybe going into the halfway into next year, and then scoop that up to 25 million plus once we prove out the system and we have confidence doing our own money, then we start scaling.
I love the idea that you are keeping you have everybody already working in the business. So let's see what else we can do for this business that is
complementary.
A side part. It's complementary. Like owning the real estate is just a brilliant way to do it. Like if you wanted to start a gym, don't just lease a location, buy the facility and have that be a separate company holding the real estate. Then you have a second company that's actually running the gym so that you could sell the company if you wanted to hold the real estate. So I absolutely love it. Now, Brian, you've given us so much great insights, and I want people to check out your podcast and we also reach out to you. We're getting the end of time. How can people find you and reach out to you online?
Yeah, so you can check out the Action Academy podcast. I talk into a microphone every single day. We interview multimillionaire entrepreneurs. The goal of the show is to get you from 6-figure employee to 7-figure world traveling entrepreneur. So if that's exciting, we talk about actionable stuff. Go check out the show. We do 5 episodes a week. You can get my book out on Amazon. It's only on Amazon, From Passive to Passionate: How to Quit Your Job, Grow Your Wealth, Turn Your Passions into Profits. It literally walks you through. It's more passive income than anything. It's like the tactical guide that will walk you through how to sell or finance negotiate, how to analyze and set your buy box. What does a partnership look like through debt and equity? And that's the book. In closing, you can go to w2theworldtravel.com, and that is a free 26-page passive income guide. And that's me. Besides that, you can Google my name. I'm just about everywhere. Online, it's just my name.
Awesome, Brian. Hey, thank you so much for being on the show. And hopefully one day I'll be able to come hang out with you at one of your boutique hotels, man.
Let's rock, baby.
And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777, RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.